right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Habs Tonight post-game show with myself and the one and only Adrian. Adrian, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome to be doing this again. Last time I did the show was with Deeks a couple of weeks ago with Habs and Bruins. So happy to be back.
Right on, right on. So for those who don't know, Adrian is running our TikTok account. If you haven't checked it out already, please do so. Do yourself a favor. It's fantastic. Post some great content there. And
Thank you.
Just want to remind everybody listening right now, we are 11 subscribers away from 13,000. So please, if you haven't subscribed already, do yourself a favor. We got good content coming out all the time. So hit that subscribe button. But man, tonight, what as a Habs fan, it's a boring game, but as a hockey fan, it's a historic game here with obviously Marc-Andre Fleury getting his 500th win in his career. Only 3 goalies have done so in the history of the NHL, namely Patrick Roy, Martin Brodeur, and now Marc-Andre Fleury. What do you think about that?
Again, I've always been a pretty big Marc-Andre Fleury fan since I was a kid. I remember when he first started out in Pittsburgh and he had those bright yellow pads, and I was like, oh, this guy's my favorite goalie, right? So guy's had a remarkable career. He's faced a lot of adversity at times in his career, but again, it was 3 Stanley Cups, and he's done a lot and very well respected around the league. So couldn't have been for a better person and a great goalie to his own, for sure.
And I like the point you touched on here. Like, he's been shafted by Pittsburgh and Vegas, right? Pittsburgh left him out to dry for the expansion draft, and then Vegas just shipped him off for nothing. Like, they traded this guy who just won the Vezina Trophy for absolutely nothing. So putting myself in his shoes, I'd be pretty mad. But tonight, I'm really, really happy for him. As he's an idol to everybody who lives in Quebec. He's just an icon, and he'll be put in the Hall of Fame as soon as he retires. I'm not worried about that. In my opinion, he's already probably top 5 goaltenders of all time. I have no problem saying that. So very happy to see him get that, and the respect that the Habs fans showed him, chanting his name at the end of the game, and getting the first star and all that. That was very classy by the team, by the players and the fans. So that's I guess the highlight of the night, eh?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say so too. Again, seeing the Habs fans, Habs faithful, give him a nice little ovation after, and seeing his teammates coming up to him after was a pretty nice scene. I was also going to say, kind of going back to how you said he's got treated very poorly, I guess to say lightly, in his career, and his attitude's never changed, and that's one thing I really like about him. And his attitude's always been very positive, and he's always whenever you see him at the rink and whatever, his teammates always say he has a positive attitude, and he's always been. Even when Pittsburgh benched him, he was still rallying the boys and stuff there. And it's always good to have a guy like that in the room. So yeah, again, I'm very happy for Flower there. Again, definitely going to be first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he's done playing. He'll get in like that whenever he's eligible. He'll get in first ballot for sure.
Easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we are called Habs Tonight at the end of the day, right? So we should touch on our team here. Wasn't a big game. Obviously, we got shut out there. Only we had 30 shots on net, so still we didn't slump or anything. But I think our best player, once again, I think it's a recurring thing here. Jake Allen, 23 saves tonight, and he made at least one. I don't know about the second one where he took out the stick there. Did that touch the stick? I'm not sure, but it's either one or 2 really nice saves tonight. Yeah.
It looks like it did, to be honest. At a certain angle, it looks like it kind of touches a piece of it, and it kind of sails up. So, I like that he kind of made a little bit of a hiccup there, but he recovered right away, and obviously made a beautiful save. So, and a guy like Patty Kane, I think it was too, right? So he usually plots those in, right? So. It's been a pretty telltale this season with Jake Allen. He's been keeping us in every game. I'm telling you, he's a great acquisition. I'm very happy that they acquired him when they did. Obviously, to get some reassurance in the net minding position. And yeah, man, I think he's been their best player so far this year. Aside from Suzuki's been great. Jonathan Drouin's been making great strides, and but yeah, Jake Allen's definitely been their most valuable player, I'd say.
Yeah, and that save he made on the Brinkat as well was huge,
Yeah, that
and
was nice.
just he keeps keeping us in the game, right? That's basically what he does. He keeps us in the game, and we're not able to help him
Yeah, it's the
defensively
run
and
support.
offensively. We keep letting these nice opportunities for the other team. Meanwhile, we're not getting good shots off. We did get 30 shots, but how many of those were actually dangerous?
Yeah,
5 or 6 maybe. Like it's sad. It's just sad at this point. And
yeah,
you have to remember though that we do have 64% of our salary cap on the injured reserve list. So
yeah.
you can't do much with a team. Like you look at our roster, right? And someone who's not familiar with the Habs team will be like, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy?" Right? It's normal, right? It's to be expected. It just sucks as Habs fans. We want a good show. We want our team to win as always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one thing again, seeing all the young guys and a lot of the guys coming up from Laval, I guess filling in for the injuries. I like to see how they're playing and kind of study the way they're playing because it's gotta look through it like there's like a silver lining kind of where you can see the young kids develop, maybe you can say, and watching them play and grow and progress. So guy who had a very strong game tonight was Laurent Dauphin. I think he had a really strong game. He was moving the puck pretty well. He was getting in those good areas to get some scoring chances and whatnot. So, again, there's always a positive. I find even with this game, like we had 30 shots on goal. Again, Jake Allen played great. And a couple other guys had some good scoring chances. Like Drouin had 4 shots on goal in the game. So again, there's always, I find, they're losing hockey games, but there is little nitpicks you can take out of each game and like, okay, this was good, right? So I try to look at that, and
That's right.
That's all kind of makes the losing sucks, but it makes it more enjoyable when you can kind of nitpick those little positives out of every game.
That's Habsativity right there, folks. Okay, this is Habsativity exemplified on the screen. So
thanks.
take notes, people. Take notes.
Yeah.
We got our good buddy Drew Deeks here commenting that
Hey.
wants to see my shirt. One and only
goal.
Beautiful. And that's a great segue to our next topic here, which is the young guys, right? With all the injuries, we're bringing up guys from the AHL. We're giving Caufield 19 minutes of ice, right? But then again, Caufield's playing on the third line, and no disrespect, but he's playing with Laurent Dauphin and Mathieu Perreault, right? Those are not the guys you would like to have with Caufield to help him build his confidence, which is clearly very low at the moment. It's not the kind of line you want in order to help him progress, and that's your future, right? That is your future goal scorer. You're going to rely on him for years to come. And right now, you're just putting him in a situation where he's running in the same place. Like he's not moving forward.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, he was moving the puck. He was moving the puck pretty well tonight. But yeah, it is hard. Usually, with your young players like that, you kind of want to put them on, either the top 6 with with our roster wasn't so banged up. You want to see him with a guy like Toffoli, Suzuki, maybe someone like that. Caliber of top 6 player. I think that's how you want to develop a guy like Caufield. I've said before too, like I'm not opposed to him maybe playing the rest of the year in Laval with the way our season's going again, just to get his confidence up and maybe let him develop a little bit down there more. He's looked good. Like he's flying with the puck out there, and it's good to see that. Like I saw him carrying the puck again, 19 minutes of ice time, right? So, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to him maybe playing a good stretch of the season in Laval. It would be good for him, I think, for going forward.
Yeah, that's not a terrible idea. I mean, we saw what just happened there yesterday with Matias Nylander. For those who missed it, Matias scored his first goal in North America yesterday with his first game back with the Laval Rocket. An absolute beauty from the point in the power play. And if the season progresses and maybe players come back from injury, that could be, certainly an option to send Caufield over to the AHL. He'll get first line minutes, first PP, playing with the best players there. But I'm a big Ducharme supporter. I'll defend him until he's still our coach, but I really don't understand the way he's handling our young guys. I mean, Jesse Ilonen played 7 minutes tonight. He played 7 minutes. That's peanuts. Peanuts.
Yeah. Usually when you want to develop young guys, you want to at least give them, maybe 10 to 12, when they're just starting out like that. I don't think 7's, again, yeah. Like I don't agree with, gluing them to the bench, I guess you can say. You got to let them play, let them develop. And in a season like this, you got to let the young guys make mistakes, right? Kind of like, Romanov has looked great the last month. Again, he's hitting everything in sight. He kind of looks like he looks like a young Alexei Yemelin with just a little bit more mobility with the way he's playing. But yeah, he's been great. Again, but at the same time, instead of benching the guys, if they make mistakes, you gotta, let them learn from them and let them play going forward for sure. Let the kids play, like they say.
Yeah. Well said. Another guy we haven't gotten the chance to touch on the channel just yet is Kale Clague. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've heard various different pronunciations. I've heard Clague, I've heard Clague. So whatever, I'm going with Clague. Kale, if you're watching, DM me, tell me if I'm wrong. But tonight he did play 19 minutes, which I love. He had obviously a penalty, which was a bit soft in my opinion, but nonetheless, he had 1 hit, 2 blocks. Played fine. He didn't cough the puck up like last game. That's just a fluke. It happens to everybody. You can't really be too mad at him. But tonight I liked his game. I saw him getting involved offensively. We really got to see how good of a skater, puck mover he is. Maybe needs to work a little bit on the defensive side, but that'll fix itself in the long run. What'd you think of his game tonight?
I think he had a strong game. Like you said, played 19 minutes. He moved the puck pretty well. I mean, for a waiver claim pickup, I think that was a great pickup for the team. Again, he's a young defenseman. I think he's like 23 or something like that. So again, it's young player. Definitely good to have the youth on the team. I'm very impressed with this game. I thought he looked great out there.
Yeah, very good. And I think that's a guy that, depending on who we decide to trade at the trade deadline, because it's it's bound to be a lot of movement, and in the coming years we have a lot of defensive prospects who are going to move up. We could think of Gooley, Jordan Harris, all those guys are going to move up. Yeah. But I still think he would have a spot on the team. The potential is there. This guy did win gold with Team Canada in the juniors, so I've been a big fan of that waiver claim. I still am. I think he's going to be fantastic with us. Now I see the chat is, sharpen on the draft here, how we're going to look on the draft if we don't get first overall, top 5, all that. Speaking of the draft, there's, the trade deadline coming up. There's a lot of players we can trade for good draft picks, and we know it's a pretty decent draft this year, as Damon would say. So if we want to start getting into rumors, today and the past week, we've heard a bunch of players' names get thrown out as being on the trade block. Today, I heard Galley is on the trade block, Toffoli, right? People are just throwing names out there. So what makes sense to you? Which guys do you think have good value right now that would make sense to move at the trade deadline?
Ooh, that's a good question. Definitely Ben Sherratt. He's been kind of the top of the list. I think he was leading the league in defensemen, like for goals or something like that. You can easily get a first round pick for him, as he'll be a good rental piece for a team that's going to make a run for the Stanley Cup. Galley, again, my heart says no, but if the right offer's there, you kind of have to go with it with the way the season's going. I was even saying, Toffoli would definitely pitch a good return if that was ever an option. I was telling you before we got on here, Mike Hoffman. I think I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago that said Hoffman, you're probably going to see him moved at the deadline. I mean, that's just an opinion, but again, it's very possible. One thing I think though too is it's a little bit hard to move some of these guys because the way the team is built right now, it's a lot of long-term deals. A lot of teams that are making, pitches for the cup, right? They want to get, guys that are on their contract year or something like that, with maybe a cap hit that isn't as low, and obviously with like retaining salary. But there is a lot of pieces though. If Jeff Gorton, not used to not saying Bergevin, but Jeff Gorton, if he can definitely get some good value for some of the players on his roster right now for sure.
Yeah. We still technically don't have a GM, right? Jeff Gorton is just acting as interim GM for the time being while the search is going on. But the GM search committee is still being formed as we speak. So we're not going to be getting a GM anytime soon. I've heard, it's going to be in 2022. So after New Year's, which I'm fine with. Again, hopefully before March, when the trade deadline happens, I'd like to have, two heads instead of one actually discussing moves. And once we do have an actual GM, that's when they'll be able to have a good vision of the future, right? Do they want to go the rebuild route? Do they want to just, ship a few pieces and focus on the core we have right now? It's still up to Jeff Gorton and future GM. That's why all those rumors, all those guys' names getting thrown out is ridiculous to me. It's just media people trying to stir up drama and whatnot.
Of course, usual.
But
Montreal,
if we want to partake in those discussions, I'd have to agree with this comment right here. Brett Kulak has fantastic value at the moment.
Good call.
He's playing big minutes. He played 17 minutes tonight. We saw a couple games ago he had a sick goal there.
That was nasty.
So he has great value at the moment. I think he could fetch us maybe a second round pick, something of the sorts. So I wouldn't mind, looking into that, as well as, the Ben Sherratt discussion. If Elliot Friedman is convinced we can get a first round pick, I'd like to trust him on that. That would be huge return for Ben Sherratt. He's our defenseman right now because Petry's injured and hasn't been playing great so far. But 23 minutes tonight, big game, 4 shots on goal, 2 blocks. In a season like this where you can allow yourself to lose in a way, I think this would be the time to trade a big piece like that. And to some people go as far as saying, Jake Allen and Galley and all that. I don't think that would happen. Jake Allen is one of the best backup goalies in the league.
Fringe starters.
He's better than some starters, right? So of course you could get probably good value, but do you really want to do that? Like, who would come up as your second goalie? Do you trust Montembeault? Would you do Primo? Like, I'm not ready to do that yet. So I'd leave Jake Allen where he is. Stay put, my friend.
I agree. I think trying to move guys like Galley and Jake Allen, I think would be hard during the season because, again, they're locked in for a couple of years. If that were to maybe happen, maybe in the off season. Again, I don't want to see Jake Allen go just yet because, again, I was saying, he's a great fringe starter. He can start 40 games or whatever, and you can trust him, right? And he can split the time with your main goalie, kind of like I think he did in St. Louis for a bit with Jordan Binnington. I think they were kind of splitting the time, right? So, I mean, I don't think those guys move at the deadline. That's just my opinion, though. I see, the viewer said there, Kulak would definitely bring good value. You can probably get a good second round pick, maybe a first rounder. For a guy who moves the puck really well, plays good defensively. Excuse me. I think he has a lot of value. Here's my question, though. Might be a little bit of a bold question, but
so we're all about that. We're all about that.
All right,
let's go.
Cool.
Let's stir the pot, my friend. Come on.
All right. Let's go. So I know obviously there's a lot of rumors about certain players, but Do you see maybe Jeff Petrie being moved at the deadline, maybe for again a team that needs a defenseman on their top four? Go for a cup run. Do you see that as a possibility, Shane?
So here's the thing, right? If we traded Petrie last summer, right after the cup run and all that, his value would have been through the roof. As we speak right now, his value is at one of its lowest of his career. Like, he hasn't done anything this season, nothing. So as the games progress, and he's injured right now, he's an injury risk. Teams are not going to be willing to spend a big price on him at the moment, right? If he comes back before March, starts lighting it up, like he used to, like he did back last season there, maybe, I'd take the calls and see what kind of offers I'm getting, but he's not really high on my trade list. I think, he's a great mentor. We're losing Shea Weber. Clearly, according to Dwayne, he's retired, right? So it's really Petrie's defense now. Like, that's his defense. And we got some young guys coming up, like we spoke earlier. Gouli, Harris, Kale Clague is still 23. Romanov is young. Norlinder. So we need a guy that can show them the way. If it's just rookies on our defense, then we're going to be kind of lost here. But I like, again, Thrashers fan on fire tonight. Lehkonen is fantastic, and I'll throw in Armia as well. Both have good value, good puck movers, and can play on the PK, PP as well. That could fetch some potential prospects or picks. So I like that.
You could probably get like a third rounder for Lehkonen. Again, he provides a lot of value, like you said. He can put him on the power play. He put him on the penalty kill. I mean, he's been here for a while too, right? He's showed that he can put him in a lot of situations and he'll succeed, right? So you can, I can see maybe Lehkonen. Armia too. I know they just signed him like long term. I think it was a 4-year deal, but Armia played tremendous in the playoffs last season, right? Yeah. So he's obviously been proven to be a playoff performer. So that can definitely be an attractive piece for a cup contender for sure.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gorton and future GM have a lot of pieces they can work with here. I think it's probably going to be, I don't want to say a long process, but it's not going to be short, right? We're not going to be back to the cup finals next year.
No, definitely not.
So we need to all be patient. If we flip the page a little here and talk about what's trending, Mr. Number 8 on the New York Rangers, Jacob Trouba, is a menace on the ice these past 2 games. He completely laid out Jujhar Khaira a couple days ago. It's unfortunate to see. You never want to see a guy laying on the ice unconscious there, like he has, and it's not his first time either. Remember, I believe it was last year, Romanov just laid him out, and he's been in a couple of fights as well where he got knocked out. So that's never fun. But again, Trouba yesterday laid out Nathan McKinnon, and both were, clean hits.
They were.
I guess shoulder raised a little, but skates never left the ice. Textbook clean hit. What do you think of Mr. Trouba there?
Oh, again, I don't think the head was really like the principal point of contact. I don't think he was trying to hit the head. It's just maybe raise the shoulder a little, maybe get a little bit more edge. But he's always kind of had a reputation for being a pretty, physical defenseman. I remember watching some clips of him when he was with Winnipeg, and again, very hard to play against. Hits hard, moves well too for kind of like a bigger guy, right? Mm-hmm. So no, for sure. I good to see the physicality, of him coming back. Because again, when I was younger, I used to see the Winnipeg highlights, and he was a freight train down there. So pretty cool to see. For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I hope Jujhar Khaira is okay. Mm-hmm. I know we were saying about the injuries he's had a couple of years, last couple of seasons. So hope he's all right.
Very scary sight. You never want to see that. But
for sure.
Jacob Trouba is the type of guy that you just hate playing against, but you love to have on your team, right? He's not Brad Marchand per se, but Brad Marchand is the same guy. Like everybody would love to have him on their team. But to play against them, you just hate him. Like I despise the guy, except when he's playing for Team Canada because he's playing for my team, right? So
exactly.
it's that kind of situation where, if we had Trouba on the Habs, I would love him. Now I don't like him because we play against them. So all respects to him. He's playing his role correctly, and he's having a great season too. Like all around the board, he's actually doing pretty well for himself here.
I agree. Yeah, he's been good for the Rangers though since I think he got traded there in I think it was 2019, was it? I think he got traded there, and yeah, he's been a pretty big force for them as soon as since he's been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, I mean, we've touched on a lot here. If we just circle back around tonight's game, obviously quite boring, not much to talk about. We did have 30 shots on goal, 54% on the face-off circle. That was good. I mean, Suzuki was at 60. Let's see, Paling was at 67. Evans was at 57. So all above 50. That's great news going forward here. We had 23 hits, 10 blocks, mostly coming from David Savard again. He had 3 tonight. And, that's a guy who's been progressing really well. I think he started off the season, pretty rough. And as time went on, like recently he's been very hot.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it's hard, some guys, it takes them, maybe 10 games to kind of adjust to a new system. I think he's always been a great defenseman, even back in Columbus, even last year with Tampa. Did some great stuff there. I'm happy to see him kind of turn it around. And again, he's getting physical, blocking shots. And for a guy that's more of like a defensive defenseman, he moves the puck pretty well. I saw him pushing the puck down the ice a little bit tonight at times. So, I know I can't go wrong with that. And very team-friendly contract too. So that's another thing I always think about. He kind of took a discount to come play his hometown Montreal Canadiens. So can't go wrong with that.
Got to respect that. That's always a beauty move there. I mean, before we head off there, what would you like to see for next game? Any lineup changes? What would you like to see more of, less of?
Yeah. You know what? Just let the kids play. That's it. Give the kids more ice time. Again, you were saying like Suzuki, Paling, and Evans were great on the face-off circle. That's very positive. Mm-hmm. I know Suzuki's improved on the face-off circle since last year. I think his numbers have gone up. So for next game, just let the kids play. Let them play. That's all I say.
Very good answer. Very good answer. I am of the same opinion. I'd love to see a Caufield and Paling reunion. I got the chance to see them both play in Laval one game, and they were playing together. They were playing fantastic. They were lighting it up. Paling had a goal that game, assisted by Cole. So, I think it's. I would love to see that. Maybe slap Drouin on that line. Could do something nice with that. But
for sure,
I'd love to see Caufield in a better situation. And Ylönen 7 minutes is unacceptable in my opinion. He's a great prospect. It's a chance right now that you have because of injuries to play him, and you're not playing him. So that's unacceptable in my opinion. You got to play him more. And I'd like to see something going on the power play here. We had 2 power plays and we did do well, just never put the puck in the net. So
for sure. I want to see. I want to see more Mike Hoffman off wing rippers on the one timers. On the power play. I've seen a few already this year. He's been great, but I want to see more of that. So hopefully they can kind of do that more.
Right on. Yeah. Well, to everybody tuning in, I'd just like to remind you all to get your merch on the HabsTonight.net website. Okay. Yep. Get your gold Caufield shirts, get your hats, get your sweaters. The merch is insane. And we have a 20% promo code right now, all store wide, if you use the promo code Dale on checkout. So check that out. Adrian, buddy, it was always a pleasure doing this with you. Any last words? I feel like I'm about to kill you. Why did I say that? No. Any last words before we head off?
No, all good. Just to all the fans watching, just stay positive. It was very hard seeing Bergevin leave last week. I think it was over a week, but I think there's good things to come. Just we just have to wait and sit tight and be positive. That's all I can say. And go
Well
Habs,
said,
go.
brother.
Yes, sir.
Habsitivity, everybody. Habsitivity. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.